Good morning, crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm Georgia, and so happy that you're with us today. It is Tuesday, May 31st, I believe, at 10 o'clock. So if you are on with us at that time, we just appreciate you sharing your morning with us. And if you are watching the rebroadcast, well, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. If you would please just take a moment after you watch the video and leave us a little comment, we sure would appreciate that. We appreciate all comments, and we are just trying to get better at providing these crafting videos for you. And so we read every single comment. Also, please remember, give us a thumbs up. We sure would appreciate that. It really does help us, let us know we're doing a good job. Today, we are going to work with a gatefold card. Oh my goodness. We are really excited to show you how to do this card. Now look at that. We are using the Oceanfront, but I also have another card at the end. Stay with us. That if you want to do this gatefold and you don't have this stamp set, you can use another stamp set. You'll have all the measurements, which brings me to this. You don't have to write down all the measurements. Just make sure that you hop on over to creativemomentsbyg.com and you can get all the measurements over there. Just give us about an hour and we should have everything up. Well, we are very excited about this because we looked at all different color combinations. And I think this is a great technique that you could try when you have a scene stamp set, something that you're creating a scene. Go ahead and take a moment and create a chart like this. Now, we're going to discuss that a little bit later, but it gives you an idea of what colors to use. And I don't know about you, but that really does help me. So let's go ahead and head down to the crafting table and let's get started. Okay, we have everything cut and measured, but we don't have this exactly scored the way we need it. So this is just your typical base card, 8.5 by 5.5. But instead of scoring it normal at 4 1/4, because it's a gatefold, we are going to score 2 1/8 on each side. So let's go ahead and just put that right on the 8th mark. Make sure we're using our scoring blade. And let's simply flip it over and do 2 1/8 as well. Just going to score that. Now, let's just see. Let me put that down. And now we're going to reinforce that. You can bring in your bone folder to do that, to really get a good crease. Both sides. And now we have our gatefold, and all we have to do is decorate it. But what we're going to do this morning is, this is the front mat that we're going to use to decorate it. Hey, Mary, Pat, Carol, so happy that you're with us. We are going to stamp it twice. So I'm going to turn this landscape and I'm going to bring in another piece of paper because we're all about colors today and how they coordinate with each other. And then we have a few little tips on how to really work with this stamp set. So let's go ahead and bring in, first we're going to go ahead and stamp our sky. Now, it's really important when you're doing this that you get your horizon straight. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our Mango Melody, and we are going to stamp our sky, but we're going to do something a little different. To give it a more sunset flair. Gray family, good morning from Las Cruces. We are simply stamping that, and then we're going to bring in our little dauber. And we are just going to go around the edges just to give it some additional depth. Now, this is a great way to really color your stamp set and just bring in that additional color. We love doing this. Now let's see. We're going to go ahead and stamp it twice. Stamp this one first. See how we have that darker color? Looks just like a sunset, right? Going to go ahead and stamp it again with the Mango Melody. Bring in our color again. Now the reason we're doing this twice is our mats and our base card are going to be different colors. And I want you to see how that really plays a part in, does it pop or does it not? So let's go ahead and stamp this one. Okay. And when you do this, no two are going to be alike, right? But that's okay. Hi, Anne. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is stamp our water. And the water that we're going to use is that new beautiful color that we have, Tahitian Tide. Hey, Dawn, welcome. We're going to bring that in. We're just going to ink that up and make sure that you have it lined up right on the horizon. And stamp it. Look at that. Doesn't it look like water where it shimmers? So pretty. We're going to go ahead and stamp it once again over here. Making sure we're right where we need to be. Oh my goodness. I love that sunset. A lot of times we'll use blue, a lighter blue for the sky. But this time when we were working with it, we really wanted to go ahead and do this and create that beautiful sunset. And now we're going to bring in our land. And here is our land stamp that we're going to use. And we are going to use soft suede, but we're going to bring in a little bit of early espresso just to create, once again, some depth. And it's going to go just like that. It slants just like that. So we're going to bring that in, stamp it, and very lightly go over the top of it. Not real heavy because this is a pretty dark color. Just going to very lightly go over the top. Just to create that area that looks more like a shadow. And just stamp it right there. And we're going to come in with it again and just stamp right here. And don't worry about how dark the colors look. They will lighten up once it dries. You do not have to worry about that. It's amazing how it really lightens up. So we're going to make this a little darker. There we go. Just a little darker. Just really go in with your dauber. Get that darker. And let's see what this one looks like. Okay. Kind of makes it a little darker there. We're going to come in with it again. And now we're going to bring in our beautiful plants that just transform this whole scene. And we are going to use garden green on our plants. And I'm trying to find the garden green. There it is. These plants are just beautiful. We're going to stamp the bigger one first. Just go ahead and put it right there. Look at that. You can stamp another one if you want. We'll stamp another one on this one. And then we're going to bring in our little one. And just put him right here. On this one, we'll go ahead and put two of the smaller ones. Now, something else you can do that you might have forgotten to do is come in with the sand that they provide to you. It's this speckled little stamp. And that's to create some sand on that. And look, it looks just like sand. So you just kind of put it all over. Put it right in the back. and really it transforms that just regular dirt into some speckled sand. Let me bring that up to you. Can you see the speckles? Really, really looks pretty. Now what we need to do is, let me see, did I forget to stamp anything? No, I have everything stamped. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in this base card, and I have already cut the Tahitian panels as our first mat. So we're going to go ahead and glue those down. And remember, the measurements for this will be listed over on our blog. We're just going to lay that down. Now, you know something else that would be quite pretty on this is if you embossed these panels. That would also be very pretty. Yes, okay. Now, we have also done this in a different color cardstock because I want you to see how working with the colors really does cause your card to pop. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, now what do you do because your mat's too big? We are simply going to cut this in half and lay it right on top. So it's kind of scary to do that. I know you're worried that it might not work, but we cut this 1 5/8. So we're going to make sure it's at 5, and now we're going to go to 1 5/8. And the good way to tell is that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 1/8 past the half mark. Okay. And Maudie just reminded me before we do this, we need to put our birds. I knew I was forgetting something. Thank you, sis. Okay, now what we're going to do is, you can do black, but you know, we like to do Night of Navy. That's why Maudie and I are a team. She catches me when I forget something. Okay, so we need to just make sure they're going in the right direction. We're going to stamp them right here. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. I'm going to get the other one. Just move it to the side. Okay, so now let's bring in our thing and go back. Remember, the 1/8 is just right past the half mark. 1 1/2. So it's 1/8. That's 5/8. So we just go ahead, making sure that this is right. I don't want to make a mistake. So we have 3 1/2, 5, 1 1/2. Okay, so it's actually going to be, yep, 1 3/4. This one's 1 3/4. Okay, 1 3/4. Let's keep our fingers crossed that I did it right. Okay, yes, I changed the measurement just a little bit. So it's 1 3/4. So we're just going to lay that down, and now we're going to bring in our card again. And we are simply making sure that we put it in the right direction and we carry it over. Look at how pretty that looks. So let's go ahead and just glue this down. And what's great about this design is if you don't have this Oceanfront, I'm going to show you another design where you can use a flower. So you can use any stamp set that you have. Let's go ahead and get this one and get that laid down. And we are going to create a belt, or what we like to call a belly band, right? To keep everything down. Now, here is this card. Now we need to have a piece of paper in the middle of it, which I have not cut yet. We will get that. And that size needs to be on the inside 5 1/4 by 4. So we'll go ahead and just trim that by 4. And I will go ahead and cut 2 of those because we are going to make that other card by 4. And then we will have both of them cut. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing. That means so much. We're working so hard this year to try to grow our channel. And anytime you can share it with your crafting friends, that just really helps us out. So see, it fits perfectly right here. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp using a completely different stamp. Now this one looks so pretty. And we're going to do something called a second generation stamp. So let's go ahead and bring in our ground. We have to bring in our ground. And here it is. And I need to find soft suede. So we're just going to, this time, instead of putting it on the slant like that, we're going to go ahead and turn it around and just give us an area for our plant to sit on. Okay. And now we're going to bring in our garden green. We're going to stamp it once and then just pick it up and stamp it again. And that gives us our second generation stamp. So it kind of looks like it's behind that leaf, and we really like that. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in our little bitty cute one. Go ahead and just stamp it just a little bit. There we go. Oh, and look how cute that looks. Oh my goodness. Now we'll go ahead and stamp our message, which is thinking of you. And that way we'll be ready to lay this one down. And then I'm going to show you that chart that I made to show you the different colors. So let's just go ahead and put that right there. Hold it for good contact. Oh my goodness, look how pretty that looks. Let's lay this down. And I just want to show you the different combinations you can have when you're working with this particular stamp set. Or any of the stamp sets. Maybe you have a different ocean. Now look at that. We're going to create our belly band in just a moment. But let me show you what we played with last night. We decided to just look at all the different colors and how it might look. And this is a great idea when you're working with anything that's a two-stamp process. Otherwise, if you stamp it, you'll forget what you've done and just write the colors out to the side. And so we looked at all these colors. Here's colors on the side. And we decided that the best color was this one right here. That the Tahitian blue in the water and this melon mango melody really did make the sunset pop. We also did a little one over here just in case we needed a different one. And see where we put that shading right there really makes a big difference. And so you'll want to make sure and do that. Okay. So let's continue with our belly band. We have simply cut a 10 by 1. And now the way I do our belly bands is I just go ahead and I put it around the card. I kind of center it. That way it's not too tight because you don't want it too tight. And we just go ahead and we just put some glue on this. And get it glued down right over the top. Okay. So now we have this and we can slip on and off. We don't have to worry about it. And I've cut the colors to match the card. So we're simply going to lay this down and then we will stamp our message on the little white line. And that way it all coordinates. So we have this. We're going to bring in our little white strip and we're going to hopefully try to stamp "So Proud of You." Now it may stamp off just a little bit, but that's okay. We're just going to stamp it right in the middle. Just get it as close as we can and stamp. We can always turn it over if it didn't work the way, oh, there we go. "So Proud of You" worked just fine. So we're going to lay this down right here right on the front. And at the end, we have one that has a flower, and we have another Oceanfront to show you that is different. So here is this color coordination. Now let's look at the other coordination that we want to put together. This time, we're going to use Tahitian Tide as our card. We've already created this beautiful scene, so all we have to do is cut it apart. We're going to bring this in, and to create those gatefolds again, we simply go to 2 1/2, flip it over, do 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and then we reinforce it. You can bring in your bone folder to give it a really good crease. And we are using Mango Melody this time on top. And we'll be able to tell which color coordination really makes it pop. So let's get this laid down. And here we have it. Get it centered. Get our other strip laid down. And get that one laid down. Okay. And now all we have to do is cut this, and we decided that it was, I believe, 1 3/4 is right in the middle. We're going to lay this down. And I just think, there we go. Barely peeks out, but you can see a little bit of that Mango Melody. Okay. Okay, now we're going to make our belly band, and we just put this right over the middle. Just very loosely crimp it so that it's not too tight. Line it up and put a little bit of glue. Hold it down so it stays down. Let's see. Just looking at the comments. Is it a final special touch to the scene? Yes. Okay. Thank you for all your comments. We appreciate you making comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love hearing what you have to say and if you like our cards or not. Another idea when you're working with a panel like this, you could always just cut in and you could indent it if you wanted to. But we didn't feel we needed to do that. Now let's go ahead and get this stamped again with our sentiment. So proud of you. I'm going to bring it down even a little more. See how that works. Oh, that worked good. And just lay this right on the top. And you can see how quickly this card is. Once you know how to work with that Oceanfront, really it puts together very quickly. And remember, if you see any supplies that you'd like, we're going to have them listed below the video. We sure would like it if you'd pick them up from us on our online store. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is create that beautiful scene right in here. And so we're going to bring in our soft suede. And I think on this one, I'm going to go ahead and create that shadow that I talked about so we could see how that's going to look. Now I just need to find that. So here we have it. We're going to take our dauber once again, and we're just going to put it right on the edge. Just get some darker brown just to create that shadow. I don't see it really There we come. I can see it now. Okay. Okay, let's stamp that. See what that looks like. Okay. Now, something else you could do is you could bring in your little sand if you wanted to and go ahead and just put that over, just like that. So it looks more like sand. And now we're going to bring in our plants. I don't know about you, but these plants are so pretty. I'm going to give a good stamp, move it over for our second generation. Bring in our little one. And stamp our sentiment. And we will be ready to compare the two and see which one you think pops more. Okay, just put this right here. Put it down. Hold it for good contact. Love that font. Don't you love that font? So pretty. Okay. Okay. And let's see. We have the belly band to put on it. And now we can compare the two that we made. Now see, we have this one on our Mango Melody base card. And we have this one. It's a subtle difference, but it does look a little different. And what do you think? Do you like the Tahitian Tide card better? Closer to? I mean, I just really don't know. I'm going to put that down so that you can see the cards. I don't know. I think I like the Mango Melody. I think I like the Mango Melody. And now let me show you the other ones. I showed you this. This is Bermuda Bay. What do you think about it being on Bermuda Bay? Look at that. I think that's also a very pretty color. And now look at this. Maudie was working with this and she used just a white cardstock and then added another color right here. But I think that white is also very pretty. What do you think? Now, remember I said I was going to show you, just in case you don't have this and you have flowers and you have DSP that you want to use. Well, look at this. We simply added our DSP to the front, added our belly band, we added a flower to it, and you could also do that. Just in case you don't have a scene, not to worry because you have flowers. Kelsey agrees with mango. Okay, great. We're so happy that you like that. Now, we want to thank you so much for stopping by today. We want to remind you that we are planning a Zoom crafting get to know each other, and we've decided on a date. It's going to be June 23rd, Thursday at 7 p.m. So it's going to be our regularly scheduled time, but you have to be invited. So we're going to figure out exactly how to do that because we can't have a huge amount of people because we want to know everybody. We want you to say hi, tell us where you're from, and just let's talk with each other. We're going to craft. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have 2 cards. We'll be making 2 cards and only 2 because we're going to get to know each other. I just think that would be so much fun. Maudie and I want to get to know our crafting friends. So plan for that. Make sure that you take a moment. If you haven't, please give us a thumbs up. We would feel so grateful if you did that. And after the video, tell your friends about it. Maybe they would like to see it too. Start planning for Thursday night, 7 p.m., June 23rd. Maybe we can all get together and just have a blast, right? Well, we hope that you join us on Thursday. This Thursday, 7 p.m., we have another fun card planned for you. Go out, make it a great week, and we'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.